What began as an impossible dream many years earlier finally became a reality through the hard work of highly motivated individuals with similar missions to accomplish the impossible. The Nova Pioneer Educational Group was established as a merger between Pioneer Academies, founded by Chinezi Chijoke and Damini Gibbs in South Africa, and Nova Academies, run by Oliver Sabat and Chris Kayimba, based in Kenya, despite national and cultural boundaries.
The motivation behind merging Pioneer schools in South Africa and Nova Academies in Kenya into Nova Pioneer was the opportunity to bring together two teams with a very similar vision about building a leading Pan-African school group that developed leaders and innovators for the 21st century. And you had a common vision and two founder groups who said, we can be greater together. So when there was the opportunity very early on, we thought, this is early. How do you merge with an organization when you yourself are just 1 or 2 years old? You can't get married at 1 or 2, do you really know yourself yet? But there was such an alignment of vision and a sense of values that we can be greater together. We said, rather than go overly slowly as two separate groups, let's merge together and we can be greater together. And actually, I think both groups got richer in our culture and our culture principles because of the process of having to define what that was. When you work alone, you don't have to be as explicit sometimes about your intentions and your processes and your principles. Merging enabled that. So it was very exciting to merge early on for a South African team and a Kenyan team to come together as with what we call one team, one DNA. And today, our schools are cousins across countries, siblings within them. That's sort of how we think about it. One team, one DNA, and it's been a fantastic experience.
Based on the concept of nurturing the next generation with innovative, creative, and leadership skills for the future development of Africa, Nova Pioneer offers quality yet affordable education from the preschool level through to secondary school.
What we strive to achieve as Nova Pioneer is delivering consistently excellent 21st century learning to families across Africa. And that's guided by our vision of developing innovators and leaders who will shape the African century. Now then, the origin of that, why innovators and leaders who will shape the African century, is because we observed quite early in the idea of forming a school group that there's tremendous opportunity to do well and to do good. There are tremendous resources and there's incredible talents on the continent. And in fact, we're one of the few places in the world where the number of young people is growing, so that talent is growing. What there isn't is enough of the wherewithal to you can't just step into a job often. You actually have to go create the world, create the world and shape it and create those opportunities. So we need a lot of schools that develop shapers.
What's really core to us is that we take the fees and the investment that our parents make into us, and we invest in places that are going to have a bigger impact on the children. And for example, investing in teacher development and training, have teachers having deans that coach them and specifically giving them feedback to make sure that they're the best teachers they possibly can be, comes with huge investment on our side. But we're very mindful that we take the fees that we are given and we invest in that space, because we believe that things like that I've just outlined, things like the investment in post-school success, so ensuring that our secondary school students have access to somebody that's really going to guide them in terms of what would be great for them to do after school, where are their strengths, if they're interested in tertiary, how do we get you into the best place. Things like our hallmark programs, which are unique to Nova Pioneer, which means that possibly differently to other schools, we're investing in curriculum around innovation, in leadership, and through their time, whether you're joining Nova Pioneer at the age of 4 in a pre-primary space, right up to being with us to a form 4, a grade 12 or 13 level, that you really are getting the exposure that you need around innovation, leadership, technology, etc. So that in itself takes investment, and that's where I think we are unique, and that's where a lot of our parents' fees go to.
Recognizing the early challenges due to the need to build a synchronized networking system, the founders focused on creating one team with one mission and culture to help stem issues of cultural diversity and skills, thus ensuring consistency in the quality of education across board.
Yeah, I think the key challenge when you're merging early is making sure you have a consistency of practice, consistency of culture, and consistency of outcome. And so that took us a lot of deliberate work, but I think we've come a tremendous way, and I have the wonderful opportunity to be in classrooms in both Kenya and then a couple weeks later in South Africa, and seeing the consistency of them in terms of the way our culture and our practices are lived out in all our classrooms, I think indicates we've really come a long way in achieving that.
Our academic leadership team meets regularly so all of the practices, our vision for a classroom, those are common. And what that allows us to do is to say, when you're in a Nova Pioneer school, we hope you feel that at every school that you're in, whether that is in the feeling in the classroom, what you're seeing in the way we're teaching, and that's pretty consistent for us across both regions. So everything I talked about in terms of teacher development, we do that in Kenya as well. Means that if I was just in Kenya a couple of weeks ago, I could just join the observations that are already happening, the walkthroughs that are already happening, because we've built that culture of constantly always growing in our teaching practice.
Having firmly gained a grasp of the journey ahead, Nova Pioneer set out on a gradual expansion project and currently operates 14 schools across its countries of origin, with 2 more schools set to open in January 2023.
Consistently over the last 5 years, something that's really struck me is the number of parents that are surprised by how confident their children have become in our environment and how curious they've become. So I think that is really unique. Those are 2 very powerful, almost skill sets that you wouldn't expect. So it's not always about my child is very, very smart at science and I know they're going to be the next chemical engineer that changes the world. I think what is really heartening for us is a lot of parents are saying, I'm seeing my child become a great citizen within their own community at home, within the Nova Pioneer community. I'm seeing them be more confident. I'm seeing them be more curious about the environment. I'm seeing themselves challenge them in areas that they've never challenged themselves before.
I like the fact that the classrooms are small. I like the fact that the teachers are very committed to the children. There's a lot of interaction between parents and children. The headmaster, the dean, it's open door policy. They're transparent, and the way they're teaching the kids, I mean, when it was COVID and we had to do homeschooling, I used to sit on the side. We weren't allowed to be in the room, but I sat on the side to see what was going on in class, and I was blown away by the way the teachers were teaching our children compared to a lot of Model C schools. So I like the Cambridge system. I like the way that they teach the kids here, and I don't think I'll take my kid out of here ever.
Nova Pioneer continues to reach across borders, cultural horizons, and markets, with plans to open more schools in Ghana and Nigeria in the next couple of years.
Our intention has always been to be a Pan-African schools group. It's part of actually our vision for our students. When my daughter is 25 and wants to develop an idea she has, I'm very excited about the prospect of her connecting with like-minded Novaneers from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Senegal, from South Africa, and be able to come together to build solutions that are relevant to the world and contribute to the world. I think that social capital for young Africans is going to be a tremendous platform for them, for each of our students and alumni. We're currently in South Africa and Kenya, and very much looking forward to serving in West Africa soon.
According to Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And should the Nova Pioneer model be embraced and enhanced, the bright future of the continent can be assured.